All right, guys, we're in week 3 of the 2023 NFL season. I'm going to be going over my predictions. I'm going to be on ESPN Pick'em and using their odds. And I'm going to be also predicting the final score of the game. We're going to start off with the Thursday night game, New York Giants at San Fran. I have the 49ers actually covering this 10.5 point spread. I have them basically blowing the Giants out 30-17. I have them getting up on them early. I have Daniel Jones struggling against a good defense just because that's what Daniel Jones does. The Giants, they're the type of team where they'll beat the bad teams, but they're going to lose to the good teams, like no matter what. Right, so I have the final score of this one, like I said, being 30-17, and San Fran's going to cover. Moving on to Sunday, the noon time slot, we're going to start off with Tennessee at Cleveland. The Titans, every game this year has been close. Week 1, they lost by 1 point, and if I remember correctly, week 2, they won in overtime off of a field goal. So all of their games have been close. Cleveland, they've done nothing to impress me at all. Cleveland has looked horrible the first 2 weeks. I mean, week 1, they beat Cincinnati team that is struggling. I'm going to talk about Cincinnati later on in the video. And then they lost to a Pittsburgh Steelers team in prime time, which, Pittsburgh, I'm not that high on them either. So I have Tennessee plus 3.5. I have the final score being, I have Tennessee winning. I have Tennessee winning by 1 point because every game this year for Tennessee is going to be close. I have Tennessee beating the Cleveland Browns 21-20. I think there's going to be serious questions about the weirdo at quarterback for Cleveland, Massage Watson. I think we need to start talking about guys like him that got paid all this money and they're sucking ass right now. So yeah, that's what I have for that one. Like I said, final score 21-20. Moving on to Atlanta versus Detroit. They have Detroit favored 3.5. I think this is going to be a bounce back game for Detroit. They ended up losing in overtime against the Seahawks, which the Seahawks are a solid team. I don't care what you say. Detroit's also a solid team. Atlanta is showing that they have a solid run game. They know exactly what they want to do. Bijan is just phenomenal. That dude is so fun to watch. But I don't know if I trust Atlanta right now because Detroit, they have a high-powered offense. I don't know if I trust Atlanta's defense. We'll see. But I have this one being Detroit winning 30-24. Now moving on to New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers. I have no idea why they have the Packers favored 2.5. I have no idea. The Saints defense is real. No matter what people say, the Saints defense is real. Yes, I know they haven't really faced a high-powered offense by any stretch of the imagination yet. In Green Bay, they are not a high-powered offense. I think Jordan Love is more of a game manager type guy. Maybe he might be above average and, really good down the road. I don't know. But right now, especially how he choked a 2-score fourth quarter lead against the Falcons, I don't know how the Packers win this game. I have the Saints winning this game. I have the Saints actually winning this game by 2 scores. Like I said, the Saints defense is real. I don't even have the Packers scoring 20 points. I have the final score of this game being 27-17. New Orleans wins that one. Moving on to another noon game, Denver versus Miami. Denver, every game has been close this year as well. I think week 1 they lost by 1 point, and then week 2 they lost by 2 points. They got that freak Hail Mary, but just missed the 2-point conversion. But Denver also squandered like a 3-score lead against the Commies. So I don't think Denver's entirely that good, but I also think that they're going to keep this game close. I have them covering the 6.5 point spread, but I still have the Dolphins winning. I have the Dolphins winning. I don't know how they're going to score 26 points. I just feel like they're going to score 26 points somehow. So I have the final score being Miami 26, Denver 21. Moving on to another noon game. It's the battle of the two fraudulent teams. LA Chargers versus Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings last year was a fluke, winning all those games. Most of the games they won by one score. This year, I bet they're about to lose a whole bunch of one-score games. But the LA Chargers, I just think that they are spiraling right now, losing to Tennessee. Like, I did not see that coming. I have LA losing this game because the spread is 0.5. They have Minnesota favored minus 0.5. So it's basically like, who do you think is going to win? We think Minnesota's going to win, and, a money line basically. So I have Minnesota winning because you got to think about it. It's a noon game with Kirk Cousins at quarterback against a underperforming team. Kirk Cousins is going to have a damn near perfect game again, and they're going to actually win this time. So I have this game going Vikings 27, Chargers 24. All right, so now let's talk about the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson, he's proven that he's a bust. He's not a serviceable starter. The Jets, they're going to have to find another quarterback in free agency or, trade for someone else's backup. They have to do something. But I have the Patriots, they're favored minus 2.5. I have them covering the spread. I have them winning 20-13. Now, moving on to the Bills versus the Commanders. The Bills are favored minus 6.5. I have the Commies actually covering this spread. The Commies, they're one of those sneaker mid teams, right? So when you're a sneaker mid team, what that means is this is a team that is definitely mid, but they could beat a good team any given Sunday. Or they'll give a good team a heart attack any given Sunday, right? So for this one, I have the Commies plus 6.5. I have the Bills beating them 31-27. Moving on to the Texans versus the Jags. The Jags are favored minus 9.5. I have the Jags actually covering that spread. I have the Jags winning by 2 scores. CJ Stroud, he is showing us some stuff. He is throwing for a lot of yards. How much of that is stat padding? I don't really know, to be honest. The Texans, once they get out of a game, I kind of tune into another game. I stop paying attention to them. I mean, I watch all the games at once. But yeah, CJ Stroud, he's throwing for a lot of yards right now. I have Trevor Lawrence just dicing up this Texans defense. Ridley is going to go nuts. So yeah, I have the Jags winning this game 31-20. Now, let's go over the Indianapolis Colts versus the Baltimore Ravens. They have the Ravens favored minus 7.5. I'm pretty sure Anthony Richardson is out in concussion protocol, so it's going to be Uncle Rico starting in Baltimore. Uncle Rico, he is a really good backup quarterback. He's one of those backup quarterbacks to where he could run the offense, of course. I mean, he gets paid, so he should be able to run the offense. But what I mean is he could keep this game close. I don't see the Colts getting blown out. I see this being one of those games where they just stick around and be annoying the whole game. It's going to be one of those games where it's never really in doubt that the Ravens are going to win, but the Colts are just going to hang around like the annoying little brother, right? So I have the Ravens actually winning this game 27-24. Now let's move on to now we're getting into the 3 o'clock time slots. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Carolina Panthers versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks got a huge win in overtime last week against the Lions. That was massive for them. I mean, they're only favored minus 6.5. Like Carolina, they're just not a good team. They don't have weapons. We all know that score of the Monday night game, I think it was like 20-17 or something like that against the Saints. The last touchdown was in garbage time, and they got a 2-point conversion in garbage time, right? So they scored 8 points right then and there at the end, right? So this 6.5, I think that's a huge play. I think this is going to be my lock of the weekend. Seattle winning by a touchdown in Seattle. I think Bryce Young, he's going to struggle his entire rookie season because he has no weapons. So yeah, I have this one being Seattle winning. I actually have this one being a blowout. I'm just looking at my paper right now. I have this one having Seattle blow the Panthers out 31-13. Now moving on to another 3 o'clock slot. This is probably going to be another blowout. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chicago Bears. The Chiefs are favored by 2 touchdowns, basically, minus 13.5. This is a get-right game for the Chiefs. First 2 weeks of the season, their offense has looked mid. But at the end of the day, they have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. They have the greatest of all time at quarterback. His numbers don't show that he's the greatest of all time yet, but we all know he's the most talented quarterback of all time. Come on, let's be real. I think him and Travis Kelce are going to get hot. I think, Sky Moore is going to do some things. The receiving core is weak. They have a weak-ass receiving core. They need to go get a receiver somehow. But I still have them blowing the Bears out. It's a shit show in Chicago right now. We don't know what's going on with their defensive coordinator from what I see. I'm seeing that his house got raided, and I'm also seeing that his house didn't get raided. Who knows? I have my friends speculating that, this dude was betting on the games. Who knows, right? All we know is it's a shit show in Chicago. We have the media trying to skew Justin Fields' interviews to make it seem like he's anti-coach or whatever right now. So who the fuck knows? And Justin Fields, he's underperforming. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it short about Justin Fields because I've been going long on him since the birth of this channel. But yeah, I have this one being a good old-fashioned blowout by the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs putting up 38 points. And then I have the Bears basically getting blown the fuck out and then just scoring a garbage time touchdown at the end to make it 24. So I have the Chiefs winning 38-24. Now moving on to America's team versus the Arizona Cardinals. I think this is in Arizona, another 3 o'clock game. I mean, Dallas the past couple years, probably the past, 3-4 years, they blow out teams that they're supposed to beat. The bad teams, they blow them out. That was always, what I used to hear from people. So, they beat up on the bad teams. Can they beat the good teams? We'll see if Dallas can beat good teams this year. But they're going to blow the Cardinals out. I think they're going to get up in there, and they're going to make it quick, swift, and easy. Dak might not even play the fourth quarter, guys. So I have the final score being 37-13. Guys, we know what the Cardinals are trying to do. They're tanking for Caleb Williams. We know that. But we don't know if Caleb Williams is wanting to go to Arizona. Who knows? Arizona gets the number 1 pick, and Caleb Williams says, I'm coming back to USC. But yeah, Arizona, guys, they're tanking. Who knows if they keep Kyler Murray after this year. That's my final score on that. The Cowboys cover. Now going to, I think they have another. No, this is the Sunday night game. So the Sunday night game is Pittsburgh versus the Vegas Raiders. They have the Raiders favored minus 1.5. I'm going to take Pittsburgh on this one. I think Pittsburgh is going to win this game straight up. I'm going to take Pittsburgh plus 1.5. I think they win straight up. I have Pittsburgh winning 24-22. What's going to happen is Jimmy G, he's going to think he takes his team down the field on a fourth quarter game-tying drive. They're going to score. They're going to have 22 points. And they're going to have to go for 2 to try and get to 24 to tie it, and they're not going to get it. So, yeah, that's my final score, 24-22. Moving on, they have another Monday night doubleheader. Let me know what you guys think about the Monday night doubleheaders. I personally don't really like them. I'd rather have just one extra 3 p.m. game on a Sunday than one extra Monday night game. That's my opinion. But we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles are only favored -5.5. I think this is another lock. I think this is my second lock of the week. Yes, Tampa Bay has been playing well. They're 2-0, but look who they have beaten. They have beaten the fraudulent Minnesota Vikings, and they have beaten the Chicago Bears, which is a shit show right now, guys. I think this should be at least +7.5. I have the Eagles winning by 2 scores. I have the final score being Philadelphia 28, Tampa Bay 17. And now the last but not least, we have the LA Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have struggled this year, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Burrow, he re-aggravated his calf strain. The Bengals, week 1, they looked awful. Week 2, offense kind of started to get it back into gear, but they still lost to a really good Ravens team. This Bengals team, like I said in my recap, they lost 2 divisional games. We need to start sounding some alarms. They for sure can't fall 0-3 in the AFC North. No way they could fall 0-3, especially how stacked the AFC is. So they're favored -2.5. What I have happening is it being 21-all and Joe Burrow basically leading his team, getting them into field goal range, and they kick a walk-off game-winning field goal. I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning 24-21. Guys, thank you for making it to this point in the video, because if you did make it to this point in the video, that means that you were watching till the end. So thank you for that. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, sorry if the quality of this one kind of took a dip. I'm hurrying up and having to record this and edit it and upload it. I'm going out of town, so it's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, thank you for still watching the video even though the quality took a dip. We're going to be back to our regularly scheduled programming whenever week 3 ends. Hopefully every video gets better and better. That's the plan. I'm still learning how to do all this stuff, so just thank you for your support.